Hello YouTube preppers, this is the Comms Prepper and we're back out at the retreat again. And I wasn't planning on making a video this weekend out here for the Comms Prepper channel. In fact, I was in the middle of making a video for my other channel, the Off-Grid Cabin, but decided I needed to make one also for the Comms Prepper channel. For those of you that are subs or have been following the channel, you know that I like to do things remotely out here over the internet. I have security cameras, I have the off-grid solar power system, and I have packet radio station, HF station in the shed. And I've done a lot of videos demonstrating how you can use the internet as a tool to come in and remotely do things. In the case of the off-grid power, I could do equalization cycles, check, make sure the system's healthy. Of course, with the security cameras, my cameras email me on motion alerts, or I can just come in and browse and look at them to make sure everything's okay out here. And from time to time, I'll actually come in over the internet and access my radio equipment in the shed and get some ham radio time in. Well, we upgraded the router out here because we had a power surge or a nearby lightning strike that took out the ports. And just for the fun of it, I turned on the logging feature of that router. Well, turns out people have been pinging my router endlessly, all the ports connected to all of my remote systems out here. Now there's a couple of videos I did early on in the channel where I mistakenly left the IP address up, but since then that IP address is long gone. And I try to blur out the IP addresses, but I was really surprised at the number of requests coming in to try to talk to this charge controller, to try to access the remote desktop in the shed, accessing my cameras, and I was more disturbed with all the different IP addresses my security cameras were trying to connect to. I made a big list of rules in the router blocking my security cameras from accessing certain IP addresses, and it's like some super Borg freaky technology. It's rolling IP addresses and trying new ones. So every time I try to block an IP address, these cameras are like adapting and trying to find a new place to get out. Now every time we come out here on the weekend, the first thing I do is come in and I unplug all the cameras anyway, because I figure if it's hooked up to the internet, it could be hacked. But I was really surprised that all these people took an interest in this little remote place in the middle of West Virginia. I mean, I had IP addresses trying to talk to this charge controller and the remote desktop computer from used car lots in California and New York. Really bizarre. So last night I went through everything and started locking things down. Here on the Morningstar TriStar charge controller, I actually disabled the write feature over the internet, and that's dip switch position 8. You can actually put that to off, and you have to be here locally only to program that charge controller. That's the last thing I want, is somebody to come in and say, oh, he's got a 12-volt system? Now let's reprogram that and make it a 24-volt system. So that's disabled now, so nobody can come in and hack that charge controller. They can come in and look at the voltages, but they can't change any of the configuration settings. I also watched a really good 17-minute video yesterday, and I'll put a link down below, on how to secure a remote desktop when you're running it. So I spent probably an hour in the shed locking down that PC in there for remote desktop and locking down the routers. And I've also closed off some ports that the security cameras are trying to use. So if you guys do remote stuff or have things where you can come in and remotely access systems or equipment, keep in mind cybersecurity. A lot of dirtbags out there that just want to make people's lives miserable and break their stuff. So that's why I made this video. Again, I wasn't planning on making the video. This might be the closest thing that I've ever made to a rant on this channel. But I was really upset with the fact that somebody was trying to come in and tinker with a year's worth of work here on this off-grid solar power system or my ham radio equipment. You know, if somebody gets into that and starts turning on my transmitters, it's my FCC license in jeopardy. So simply just setting up a default remote desktop setting and think you have a complicated password obviously is not enough to control the people who want to break other people's stuff. So again, I'll put a link down below on how to secure a remote desktop connection. It was a really good video, and I'm going to get back to shooting my other video for the off-grid cabin, and I might make a video for this channel later on a new radio that I got my hands on, the ICOM IC718. It's a really cool radio. It's ICOM's entry-level radio, and I got an opportunity to get one up in the shack back in Virginia, and we'll do some demonstrations on that radio before we move on to something else. And as always, thank you for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. This has been the Comms Prepper with an unscheduled video from the beautiful mountains of West Virginia. Thanks for watching, guys.